My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content.
All right, guys, welcome to Property Profits Podcast. I'm your host, Bryce Kaminsky, filling in for Dave Dubow. And have you ever wondered how a prairie-based real estate investor conquered challenges to seize a game-changing opportunity? Today, my guest, Lorelei Ehman from Saskatoon, spills the beans on her journey from local ventures to a major multifamily deal in Windsor, Ontario. Lorelei, welcome to the show. Excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to our conversation tonight.
Now, Saskatoon, I love Saskatoon. I don't know what it is about it, but it's a great real estate city. And I love those bridges. If you've ever been to Saskatoon, there's some great views where those bridges, I tried walking across them one time. They're very, very steep. But is that where you cut your teeth in real estate in Saskatoon, or did you just jump straight to multifamily?
No, we definitely started in Saskatoon. I'd say my story probably has, three chapters or three sections. The first section would be just kind of getting started.
Mm-hmm.
My husband had a friend in Saskatoon who was a developer, and he was encouraging us for many years to, maybe buy into real estate. And we were, just had some barriers. And so he was building an apartment building just outside of Saskatoon in a kind of one of the bedroom communities. And he said, okay, here's an opportunity for you. You can buy a condo. So we said, sure. We bought two. So cash flow, that was kind of over 10 years ago, cash flowed, paying down the mortgage. And then the second part would be, we saw some advertising for a group, a real estate group, to kind of expand your business.
Mm-hmm.
And so went to that workshop. We joined an organization called Keyspire, and we bought another condo, and then we wanted to scale. And so did that for a couple of years, and we'd like to scale. So the third part for me then would be take some more training. So I took a business development workshop, some multi-training, and then worked with a business team for the last year. And we have an accepted offer now in Windsor, Ontario. And so that's what we're doing right now, is raising capital for this awesome, it's pre-construction, so it's not built yet.
Mm-hmm.
We're already seeing amazing returns, and it hasn't even been constructed. So yeah, excited about that.
So how did you, I guess through Keyspire is where you were able to put that deal together?
Yes. So yeah, so I took a multifamily workshop kind of outside of Keyspire. So I did all the Keyspire training and wanted something a little bit more. Still involved with Keyspire, and our business team is made of Keyspire members. And so yeah, we've just collaborated. We've all got great skills and different abilities, and we analyze the deals together. We review the deals, look at all the numbers, and we tried a few others earlier in 2023, late 2023, but then came across this opportunity in Windsor. And so this one, the numbers are great. That's what it boils down to.
Windsor is really blowing up. It was, from what I've heard, a kind of whatever place 10 years ago, in some people would say it's a little slummy, but it's really taken off in the last 5 years, I would say. And now I feel like any land that's out there is, people are clamoring over it, because there's really, Toronto is the whole thing. It's absorbing everything around it. It's growing so fast. So you can't lose in the long run when you're going to build a multi-unit building. Like, it's definitely going to, turn around and do some big things. So, what was the biggest challenge that you've had to overcome in your real estate journey so far?
Oh, I'd say just taking action. I think that, there's just always that fear, like, do I have the skills? Do I have the knowledge? I would say taking action, becoming educated, and continuing, just keep taking those steps forward.
Yeah, definitely the analysis paralysis. You can look at things all day.
Yeah.
And it is scary to dive into things. But my mentor always used to say, fear isn't real. And I said, well, of course it is. He said, well, fear is actually just a composition of things you don't know yet. And once you get clear on it, you can decide if it's actually a threat, because fear isn't really fear so much as like, is this a threat to my safety? And you don't know until you know. So doing the underwriting and really digging in. And how have you found the underwriting compared to single family when you're in this multifamily space?
For us, it's been not comparable. We definitely, our team needed the multifamily training to understand the depth, that's required to look at those numbers and what those numbers are telling you when you are looking at a
Mhm.
property. So we looked at a lot of properties last year in Edmonton, for example, and we actually had a couple, accepted offers. But once we did our due diligence and looked a bit further into the deal, the numbers just they weren't there for us. So we continued our search. So
Mhm.
luckily, our team members, so one of our team members is in Abbotsford and two are in Ontario, and I'm in Saskatoon. So we've kind of got a bit of our hands in different markets in the country. And then
Mhm.
the Windsor one came up, so we dove in there. But yeah, the
Yeah.
numbers are definitely, there's no comparison for me anyway with the residential versus multifamily.
Yeah. And that's really a lot of people want to get into the deal finding and maybe wholesaling apartment blocks. And I say, well, look, you better be ready for them to fall apart all day, because typically if something is for sale, there's a problem. People don't just sell multifamily buildings because they're doing so good. And so it's either in a tenancy problem or it's in a maintenance problem. Like there's always something that makes it not so much of a deal. And you have to kind of say, okay, I can accept that. Things you can't really deal with in Ontario is bad tenants. And I'm hearing from people in the multi space in Ontario that they'd rather empty buildings than buildings with any tenants, because there's a possibility that you can't really get rid of them. So I like the idea of pre-construction. There's no tenants. There's nothing to deal with. So how how did you find the because you're raising money for something that doesn't exist yet. And so how are you finding the pitching of the deal and presenting of a deal when it's a little bit intangible and in the ether?
So what we're doing is, I guess, part of it, the sell for us too would be the structure that we're using. So we're
Mm,
using the GPLP, that general partner, limited partner structure. So we're hoping to appeal to those investors that want to be hands-free, that want to be, just on the sidelines and not having to kind of do the work. And so as the general partners, that's what we're willing to put in. So we're willing to oversee the project. We're the ones that are qualifying for the mortgage,
mhm,
personal guarantees, all those kinds of things. So that's our avenue. And then the other part of it for us would be is we're offering an equity investment opportunity where lots of other deals out there. There's interest payments, or that you lend the money and then you're out of the deal, and then you don't continue
but
to earn
but no
returns.
equity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what we're offering. We're offering that as an opportunity for people to invest, and then also um, gain those returns along with us.
Are you finding it challenging to identify those type of investors in today's economy?
I think the challenge is what we've heard from some investors is
Hmm.
they are looking for some cash flow. And so the property that we have on contract is probably lower on the cash flow end, but higher on the passive appreciation. So
Hmm.
so that there's that part of it where we just need to you need to understand as an investor what it is that you're looking for. And so if
Hmm.
you're looking for some long-term, some building wealth, we've got an opportunity for you. There is a bit of cash flow, but unlike other deals where there's other deals that are just the deal is cash flow.
Yeah, they're not really, it's easy to go out and try to find cash flow, but what might not be so obvious is, okay, let's say you get into a building that's got a cash flow. 5 years from now, the maintenance is going to start coming. It's going to start calling, oh, new roof,
Mm.
retrofit the windows, et cetera, et cetera. And so with the new construction, um, you definitely have like at least 5 or 10 years of security of saying, okay, this thing is brand new, barring any sort of like construction errors. This thing should be relatively maintenance free, at least in the foreseeable future.
Mhm. And it's a great location. This particular property too is in a great location. It's infill, so it's like a block from the Ford Motor Company. They're
Mm.
so it's like 10 minutes from everywhere.
Nice.
So so that's part of it too, the location of your property. If it's not a location that is desirable for you as an investor, that's something you need to consider as well.
Yeah. So when it comes to real estate, what do you think your unfair advantage is? What comes easy to you that other people might find difficult to do?
That's a really good question. I don't mind, you know what? I enjoy the presentations. So we've done a lot of presentations this last
Mhm.
month to investors. I like it. I would say that that's something I definitely enjoy. If you want to talk to me about investments and various deals that we have, I'm ready. Let's talk.
Yeah, because a lot of people get nervous about that whole part. They're like, okay, I got someone who's interested, but now I have to do the presentation. And now there's so much pressure and on themselves and like, am I going to screw this up? I need this money, and they get into their own head. And so yeah, being able to pull that off, that definitely would be an unfair advantage. So with everything that you've accomplished so far, what would you say your biggest obstacle is today?
Our biggest obstacle probably is raising capital. I would
Hmm.
say that's definitely our entire team's focus. Yeah, I would say
Hmm.
raising capital. But I don't think that we're alone in that. I think there's lots of other real estate investors that we're all looking for capital, and you just have to make sure those numbers work and that you can provide those returns to your investors. So
Yeah, it's kind of like finding coal, in the sense that if you're running a power plant, you got to keep shoveling the coal into the fire and it burns and it's gone, and you got to go find some more and always finding more capital to expand our businesses. So what's one of the strategies that you're using right now to find more investors?
we're everywhere, which we're trying to be everywhere. We're in person events. We're
Hmm.
on Zoom events if we can attend those. We're
Hmm.
on Facebook. We're in various groups. We're in Zoom meetings. We're in podcasts. We're hustling. I mean, you got to you need to get out there. You need to let people know who you are, what you have to offer, and if they're interested, maybe they'll get a call.
Yeah, so let's say that they are interested and you get
Yeah.
them into your list, but maybe they're not all the way there yet. What's one way that you found to be effective when keeping them in the loop and keeping in touch with current investors, yes, but prospective investors, people that are just maybe on the sidelines?
I think it would just be continually providing information. As I guess one of the platforms that we use with our group, the Keyspire group, is just keeping people up to date on where you are with your projects. So
Hmm.
it's not something that you want to kind of you want to encourage, you want to share information, but if someone's not ready to invest, they're not ready to invest, and that's okay. And maybe
Hmm.
the deal just doesn't meet their needs. So you need to just be patient. And if a deal meets another investor's needs, then maybe you have a conversation and maybe you don't.
Are you find the deal and then the money sort of investor, or do you prefer to have the capital lined up, then go looking for deals?
I think we're right now, the way our team is, we don't mind finding a good deal and then looking for investors.
Raising the
And I
capital.
say that, yeah, raising the capital. I say that because, it took us months last year to find a good deal. And
Hmm.
so it was it. So when you have a good deal, you're comfortable to share that information, to share with your investors. Here's what we have looked at. We looked at places when you talked earlier about properties that they're the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, I
Hmm.
won't share any locations, but there was definitely a place that we found. It was a great deal, but once we did some of our due diligence, it was full of bed bugs.
Hmm.
So there's
Yeah.
that. And so we want to make sure that I guess our priority is that we have a solid investment opportunity.
Yeah, and that can really be challenging. Even in Winnipeg, I've seen a particular building be under renovation for over 10 years because they just can't get it under control. So, they do it and they're back, and they clean it up and they're back, and they renovate the whole thing every inch and they're back. And it's just like um they got to do something with that building because it's 10 years now, and maybe it'll finally be a deal at some point where someone puts their hands up and takes a loss and lets someone come in there and solve the problem. So when you're presenting your deals to these investors, how do you go about doing that?
Oh, we talk about the market first of all. I think that's the base of everything for our presentations anyway. So we've got a very thorough PowerPoint presentation that we share with our investors. And we talk
Mm-hmm.
about the market. I mean, it has to be in a great place that's going to have people that are going to rent. And then we talk specifically about the property, and then we talk about the numbers and what the returns are. So that's kind of our process.
And when you're, do you ever get people challenging you saying, "Oh, well, you're from Saskatoon. What do you know about Ontario?"
I think that's a good question. We haven't had anybody actually. I think the majority of the people that we've talked to are investors from across Canada. And
Mm-hmm.
those of us that are in real estate investing, we are familiar and aware and have done research on various markets.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, we were looking at Edmonton last year, and we did a lot of market research in very particular neighborhoods in Edmonton to be able to understand if that's an area that we want to invest.
Mm-hmm.
That was the same when we looked at Windsor, and we like two members of our team are also from that area in Ontario. So, yeah, no, I would say we haven't had any kind of those issues. Yeah,
Naysayers.
yeah,
So
yeah.
when you're in, looking for people to invest significant amounts of capital, they need to know, like, and trust you. What are you guys
Mhm.
doing for those sort of things when it comes to the group?
We have a GitWeb bio, so we share with our bios as we go through our experiences. Everybody on our team has a different set of skills, and so we share that in our presentations. And some people we talk to we've known for a while, and some people we haven't. We're getting to know them.
Mm-hmm. So when you look at your real estate journey and you go back to when you just started, if you could do anything different, if anything, what would that be?
Start earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's always my advice. We have two adult children, and we're on them. Let's do this. Let's get
Yeah.
them
I
going
could buy
early. That's
something.
it.
Buy something.
Yeah, yeah.
Because yeah, my brother bought a
Do it.
house relatively, well, maybe not right away. I think he's probably like in his mid 20s, maybe. He's probably owned that house for almost 20 years now. And you can imagine the benefits of owning a property for 20 years, roommates paying for the rent, and
Mhm,
um, buy it for a song comparatively
mhm.
to today's pricing. So yeah, getting in early is super important in the whole structure of things. So um, what about this project do you feel that other people might think is, would make them nervous, but doesn't really make you nervous?
Oh, that's a good question.
So like it's pre-construction. So how do you display that vision? Do you have drawings? Do you
Oh,
have
yeah,
plans, things like that? How does that work for the
yeah.
presentation? Like I'm sitting there going,
What am
sounds great. What
mhm,
am I putting my money into?
mhm.
How does that work? Where am I just like, what are
Yeah.
the plans? How do you overcome those sort of like this doesn't exist? Because a lot of people raise money for multifamilies that are already built.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
raising money for a multifamily that's not constructed yet, what sort
yeah.
of obstacles have you had to or systems have you had to put in place to kind of display the product without actually building it?
Yeah, I think you nailed it actually. So we have drawings. So we have a drawing of the block, the area in the
Mm-hmm.
location in Windsor, and then we have renderings of what the exterior is going to look like, and then we have drawings of the actual units themselves, and we're able to describe exactly what those units are going to look like. The other thing in our favor is we've had this under contract for quite some time, and
Mm-hmm.
it's already appreciated. And so there was we've an appraisal done a couple of weeks ago, and it's
Mm-hmm.
already increased in value from
Wow,
two.
that's you don't
Yeah.
hear that too often. Normally it's like stabilized, but Ontario, if they change the rates by a couple percent, if they come down 1 or 1.5% this year, Ontario is going to be insane. It's going to be another insane run where people are going to become millionaires overnight again. So, if people want to find out more about your project, connect with your team, what should they do? How do they find you?
Contact me. You can email me, Lorelei Ehman at gmail.com. LorelieEhman or myself, 306-220-9652. I'd be happy to chat.
There you go. The phone number right out there for everyone. So I really appreciate you stopping by, letting people know that you can invest outside of your province and in the pre-construction game. If you're in Saskatchewan or Alberta, there's opportunities in Ontario. There's opportunities everywhere. Just don't be afraid to, invest outside. And I think what I took away, the biggest take that I took away was get a team together. Get a team together if you're going to go at something like this. So yeah, I really appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you for having me. Have a great night.
No problem. And until next time, guys, we'll see you on the next episode.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.